and not up there. Okay, there is no out there, out there. The only thing out there is nature and things from man's in here. Okay, another person's in here. Okay, also, I want to let you know that you need to make a deal with God or your higher self or uh, infinite intelligence. You need to make that deal because it's the same thing. When you hear people, they go, "Wow, this guy made a deal with the devil. He signed a deal with the devil, right?" Okay. Well, when you hear things like that, you have to understand that with God, it's the same way. Okay. So you have to do the same thing with God. You have to say what you're going to give in exchange for something because there is no such thing as something for nothing. So you have to agree or you have to offer what it is that you're going to give, okay, in order to receive what you want. So let me give you an example. Okay. So for me, which is the only example I have, my thing is that I promised God that I would develop people and give as much time as I can to get people where they need to be. And mostly the foundational work that I do is confidence. And once we get someone to a confident level, we can call it, settling in here. Okay. But we do it through the human voice and we do the vocalization exercises. So what happens is they begin to settle. And no matter how much time it takes, we accomplish what we need to do. And so that's my deal. Okay. What will be your deal? What will you give? Okay. Everybody asks God for something. But what's not mentioned a lot is that, I never went to a church. I never went to a church that said, you have to offer something, okay, to get what you want. You have to offer something in return. I never went to a church that said that. But you have to. You have to be willing to give. Okay, so what is it that you're going to offer? So it could be, what you offer to humanity. It could be what you offer as far as your job. It could be what you offer, in the way of community service kind of thing. But you have to pledge that. And then you ask. So you have to make a deal. So the same way you make a deal with the devil, you make a deal with God. Okay? Because, yeah, you can sign your life over to the devil. You can make a deal with the devil, but you can also make a deal with God. Okay, and I suggest that only because when we're talking devil, we're talking negativity. When we're talking God, we're talking positivity. There's a limit to negativity. So let's say you can't pay your rent, and now you're on the street. Okay, that's one level. The next level down is prison. The next level down is graveyard, and then that's it. You're gone. You're done. Okay. Now, if you go the other way, if you go in the positive, is there a limit? No, it's unlimited. Working in the positive is unlimited. Okay, so you can keep going. You can keep going. You can become a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, whatever. You just keep getting better. So, what I'm saying is it's not all about money, but what I'm saying is it's infinite. The good you can do is infinite. There's no limit, but there is a limit to negativity. Okay, and the finality of negativity is graveyard. Okay, so think about that. There's only 3 steps down that you can go from where you are. Okay, and it's not pretty. So how do you do this? How do you turn things around? How do you start by start being productive and start doing good things? Well, you change your thoughts. Okay, so the thoughts, remember, subconscious. We're talking about the tree, the subconscious tree. Okay, so the subconscious, the beliefs are the roots of the tree. The paradigm is the trunk of the tree. The fruits are on top, and those are your actions. Those represent your actions based upon what you believe. And then the fruits of your labor, right, or the results of your actions, we can say it that way, that becomes your reality. That becomes, so when we talk about the law of correspondence, that's what we're talking about. Everything that you have, everything in the physical world reflects everything in here. Okay, all day long, 365, 24/7. So, good morning, Slightly Slim. Hey, Limeskin, good morning. We're on 7 networks this morning. So, we're in 7 networks across the world. We're on Trovo in Europe. We're on TikTok right now. We're on YouTube. We're on 2 Facebook accounts. We're on Twitch. So, seven platforms this morning. We'd like to share aloha from Hawaii. So, now, I've been mentioning Bible verses that correspond with the law of attraction because you have to understand the esoteric meanings of the Bible or the hidden meanings of the Bible. The Bible is an allegory that teaches in metaphor. So you have to understand the metaphors. So a lot of the Bible is talking about the subconscious mind. There is only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. So a lot of the subconscious training, if you will, is reflected in Scripture. Now, we did some from the Bible, so today I'm going to do some from the Quran. I'm going to do a couple from the Quran and the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so in the Quran, okay, Surah Al-Baqarah, when my servants ask you concerning me, indeed I am near. I respond to the call of the supplicant when he calls upon me. What do you think this is talking about? In the Quran, this is talking about ask, believe, receive. Okay? So when you're focused on something and you believe it will happen, it happens. So it's in the Quran, it's in the Holy Bible, it's in the Bhagavad Gita, it's everywhere. Okay? So don't be a one book learner. Okay? It's nice to gather this information because then you start to see, oh, it's over here, it's over here, it's over here. Ah, it's everywhere, right? Yeah, it's talking about this one. It's talking about the human. It's talking about the inner workings of the human and how it works. Okay? So Surah Ibrahim says 14:7. It says, if you are grateful, I will surely increase you in favor. But if you deny, indeed my punishment is severe. And what is this talking about? This is talking about gratitude attracts more blessings. That's what it's talking about. It's in the Bible, it's in the Quran, it's in every holy book. It's in the Bhagavad Gita. Let's take a look at that. Okay, let's take a look at the Bhagavad Gita and see what we have. So, now so this is Hinduism. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita 6:5. Let a man lift himself by his own self alone, and let him not lower himself. For this self alone is the friend of oneself, and this self alone, okay. Self, whatever you call what's in here, okay, if you call this a spirit, energy, okay, and this self alone is the enemy of oneself. So what does this tell you? Okay, so this is the power of personal responsibility and mindset. Okay, the power of personal responsibility. You're responsible for you. Okay, in the law of attraction, or let's say in positive thinking, there is only you. Because your path is determined by the way you think. It's determined by your attitude, by your paradigm, and how you see the world. If you want to change these things, you can change them. Okay? If you want to change these things, you can start here. And you can design your life. You can literally design your life. Okay, we're going to get into more of that later. Let's look at Bhagavad Gita 9:22. Okay? To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, okay, love, positiveness, positive energy, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Okay, so what does this suggest? Well, it suggests that devotion, focus, and belief, okay, bring things into being, okay? Divine guidance and fulfillment, okay? It's similar to the idea that what you consistently and emotionally focus on, you receive more of. Okay, you attract it into your life. That's in the Bhagavad Gita. That's 9:22. Bhagavad Gita 4:11. As all surrender unto me, I reward him accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects. Okay, that's in. And what is that talking about? What you give out, faith, energy, surrender is what comes back. What you give out returns to you in kind. Okay, or the similar energy is returned to you. So if you're angry, okay, the best thing to do is go silent when you're angry. Go silent, calm down, okay? And you can change your thoughts. But first you have to stop the negative thoughts. So when you get angry, okay, instead of going off and making it worse and magnifying it, what you can do is you can go silent and you can say stop. Or you can say no in your head. And then you switch your thinking, you switch your focus. So this is why visualization works good, right? So I guess this is synchronicity because this is Mark 11:24, So this is my screensaver to remind me of that, right? Ask, believe, receive. So, uh, but this is what I do. So when I have a moment, we all have moments, right? When I have a moment, okay, I just say stop, and I pick up my phone, and whatever vision board I have on there, I direct my focus to that. And what that does is it pulls you out of the negative, okay? Because you focus intensifies anything. So whatever you focus on. So if you're focused on negative stuff, you're going to get more negative stuff. If you're focused on positive stuff, you'll get more positive stuff. So when you get focused on negative stuff, because as human beings, we go back and forth. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Leo. Good evening fun in the UK. Yeah. Thanks for being here, Leo. Thank you. Thank you for your gifts. Uh, so like I was saying, when you shift your focus, now you're no longer in the negative. When you say stop, when you say no, and you refocus, stop, refocus, change your thoughts, think of something else. Okay. So, maybe you have a picture of something you love or someone you love or something that reminds you of an experience you had that was pleasant. So look at that. Okay, what helped me a lot was, I was looking at the luxury section or luxury hashtags in Instagram. And those pictures made me feel good, so I kept looking at those pictures. Okay, I wasn't scrolling for, drama and all that kind of thing, right? So that helped me years and years ago when I started this process. So that will help you too. Okay, so I'm not saying the luxury category, but I'm saying things like Instagram. Use them as tools, but use them as tools for your thinking. Because when you change your thoughts, when you change your mind, you change your life. It's that simple. And it always works like that. So my clients are a little bit different. My clients are, people with high stress jobs, and we teach them this right away, because they need to refocus their thinking right away. One of the first things I do is teach them how to switch it on, switch it off, switch it off. Mostly switch it off, because why? Because we get plagued by problems, right? So if you're a CEO, if you're a manager, if you're responsible for others in the workplace, then you're going to get complaints. You're going to have drama. You're going to have these negative things pop up from time to time. So how do you deal with them? Well, just like I told you, okay, stop or no and switch your thinking. Switch your thinking, okay? Now, here's the thing about the subconscious. So the subconscious doesn't know if your friend gossiping to you is actually telling you about you or telling you about someone else. Your subconscious can't tell. So when you participate in gossip or when you participate in someone else's drama or just even listen to someone's drama, when you just listen, you know how you get burnt out when you listen to other people's drama? Okay, so if you listen to it, it's going into your subconscious as well. Okay? And this is why it's toxic. And this is what people, when people say, "Oh, so and so is toxic, so and so is toxic," but they don't really explain, the ramifications of it or the inner workings of it. But I'm here to show you the inner workings. I'm here to show you that it's your subconscious. And your subconscious is listening and cannot distinguish if this is your drama or somebody else's drama. So if somebody else is telling you their drama, okay, then it's going into your subconscious as well. And that's toxicity. That's emotional toxicity. Okay, so how do you avoid that? Well, you politely excuse yourself. There you go. Okay, so I change the subject, or I politely excuse myself, that kind of thing. Leo, good morning. Yeah, from the UK. There you go. Yolanda, good morning. So, so your subconscious is so sharp and so keen that it's easy to form good habits. Okay, it's easy to form bad habits, right? Everybody knows that. Everybody goes, yeah, yeah, but why is the focus always negative, right? You don't hear people go, oh, you know what? It's really easy to form good habits. I'm going to form some good habits today. No, they don't. What do? They complain about the bad ones. They go, oh, I have this bad habit of doing this. I have the bad habit of doing that. I have the bad habit of eating too much cake at the party. I have a bad habit of staying up too late and I'm tired the next day, but I have this bad habit, okay? Now, I'm here to tell you that you can form good habits just like that, Okay, because human beings are very impressionable. Okay, and this means that once you repeat an action, okay, you're one step closer to your subconscious obeying you, okay, or producing a result, say it that way, because your beliefs are the roots of the tree, right? So, based upon what you believe, it forms your paradigm, the trunk of the tree, and then the fruits are your actions based upon what you believe down here, okay? So, the fruits up here are your actions, and they produce results, they give you results. Good morning, Karen. And so it gives you results. Now, if if you think that forming good habits is too hard, or you think it's a chore, or like that, right? And most people do, because why? Because they're good habits. Okay, it goes against the grain kind of thing, right? Because we like to complain about bad habits. Okay, but if you know what you want, then you know what you don't want. And if you know what you don't want, don't focus on it. If you know what you don't want, all you have to do is form a pattern that is counter to what you don't want. So let's say you don't want to eat too much. So now form the opposite habit and create a habit. Create a habit of not eating till 1 in the afternoon. Create a habit of intermittent fasting. Create a habit, you see, like that. And when you do that, your subconscious will pick it up right away. By the second time you do it, it'll go, oh, is that what we're doing? Okay, we'll wait till 1 o'clock to eat. And then you won't feel hungry in the morning. You'll get over it. Why? Because now you're programmed to not eat until 1 p.m. That's just an example, okay? But that's how it works, and that's how easy it is. It's not difficult at all to form good habits. It's very, very simple. It's very, very easy, okay? But you have to see it, okay? So your paradigm, the way you see things, okay, your paradigm has to accept it. You have to be accepting in that manner, okay? So a lot of people don't realize that the first thing you need to do in any situation is acceptance. You need to accept it for what it is. You need to accept it for its value. When you accept things for their value, then you can deal with it. First of all, determine what that value is. Is this something I need or something I don't need? If you don't need it, don't hang on to it. Don't cling to it. Let it go. Okay. Now, let me talk about letting go for a little while. Life is a series of letting go. Okay. First, we go through our first 12-step program, which is called, right, grade school through high school. Okay. 12 steps, 12 grades. We go through that process and we let go. Then we go to college and then we let go. Sometimes we get married and then we let go. There's a divorce. Okay. Sometimes there's other things that we're in for a season and then we let go. And then what happens? Well, then finally, we let go of our parents. We let go of our loved ones. And then what happens? Then we let go of the world eventually. Okay? None of us stay here indefinitely. We're just here for a time. So make this time count. Make this time work for you. Make it work in your favor. You can make it work in your favor. And all you have to do is think it. All you have to do is believe in it. Whatever it is that's good for you, believe in that. If you believe exercise is good for you, if you believe, whatever you believe, if you believe, going to the beach is good for you, if you believe that hiking is good for you in the mountains, whatever you believe is good for you, if you believe math is good for you, whatever you believe, then believe it, okay? Because you have to enjoy it. Life is for you to enjoy. This is not about drama. This is not about one continuous drama. Now, if your life is one continuous drama, you need to fix your subconscious. That's all. And there's a very small percentage of it, okay? There's only like 15 to 20% that you can change. So here's my advice to those of you with children, little children, okay? Because your first paradigm is mapped out between birth and age 7. Okay, that's when your first paradigm is built or constructed, based upon everything you experience, based upon everything that happens to you. So if you know this, and if you have children, then you can deliberately program good things into your children, because you want your children to be successful. You want your children to be healthy. bad health is a habit. Okay, all of the things conducive to bad health go through the subconscious. You can fix your health through your subconscious. Okay, I don't care how bad it is, you can make it better. Okay, you may not be able to cure things, you may not be able to totally solve a problem, but you can make it better. You can make the conditions better. Okay, you can ease the pain through your subconscious. Everything is subconscious. Once you give your subconscious instructions, it will fix things. It will start establishing new beliefs. So health is a belief. You have to believe you're healthy. When you believe you're healthy, you're healthy. You know, one day I asked someone, I said, I think I asked, it was a medical professional, I asked them, I said, how much is too much wine at one point in my life, right? And he goes, why? And I said, well, I just want to know, how much is too much? He goes, well, whatever you think is too much. If you think it's too much, it will be too much. And and at the time, right, I kind of, when like that, I was kind of taken aback by it a little. I'm like, what? Oh, okay. If I think it is, then it is, right? And then then it dawned on me after I left that, oh, okay, he's talking about the subconscious. So a lot of people that you see that teach these things through meditation, Dr. Joe Dispenza is one of them, right? Now, he teaches it through meditation. I teach it through vocalization, okay? But he teaches it through meditation. Yes, you can achieve it through meditation. You can achieve it through affirmations. I am so happy and grateful. Now that what? Write it into existence. Because when you write it, you start forming good habits. When you start forming good habits, what happens? You get good results, okay? So, good morning, Rosanna. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Yeah, that's my buddy, Rosanna. So yeah, I mean, whatever it is that is not going good in your life, or whatever it is that, if it's confidence, write it. I am so happy and grateful now that I am confident. Thank you. And read it out loud, speak it out loud. Now, here's another thing I'm going to share with you. When you start to speak of your day, when you first wake up and when you just are ready to go to bed, okay, it sets you up for a better day. So this morning, I'll give you an example. This morning, I get up, I say the Lord's Prayer, right? I'm standing in the kitchen by myself, and I just stop where I am. Okay, I said my prayer. Okay, that's just me. That's what I do. And then I started speaking out loud about what kind of day I'm going to have, what kind of value I'm going to bring to my clients, what kind of things I'm going to teach, what kind of things I'm going to say on the live, what I'm going to share with you to help you. Okay, what I'm going to give or hopefully give that is of value to you that you can use. Okay, so I started speaking about this, right? And I went on for about maybe 3 minutes. Okay, now if you do the same thing at night, the night before, speak about how you want your day to go the following day. Okay, and just articulate it, just speak it, because you can speak it into existence. Because the last thing your subconscious hears is the first thing it remembers. Okay? Now it's going to think about it all night long while you're sleeping. Now you have the idea implanted firmly in the subconscious when you wake up. And guess what's going to happen? Your subconscious is going to create small little positive actions that are all aimed towards what you were speaking. And this is why when people, talk about being angry, or they talk about being frustrated, okay, they stay frustrated. They stay angry. Every little thing makes them angry because that has become their paradigm. Angry is a paradigm. So is relaxation. So is confidence. Okay, confidence is just, another word for confidence is relaxation. Just know that if you are relaxed in here, you're confident. If you're not relaxed in here, what does that look like? Well, I call it bunny rabbit in the forest. Huh? What are we doing? Huh? Okay, we're doing that? Oh, whoa, something happened over there. That kind of thing, right? When you're confident, you're relaxed. Something happens over there and you go, hmm, something happened? Wonder what that was. That kind of thing. Okay? Because you're settled in here. Because you're not edgy in here. You're not on edge in here. Okay? Some people are like that. They get triggered by every little thing. But you know what that really is? It's really your subconscious being conditioned into being triggered. So every little thing triggers you. How do you get out of it? Make an affirmation first. Okay, I am so happy and grateful now that I'm confident. I am so happy and grateful now that I am at ease. Because at ease is the counter of dis-ease. So if you're at ease, you're not in dis-ease. Because when you're in dis-ease, you're edgy, you get triggered, you strike out at people unnecessarily. You know, the thing that cracks me up a lot is I see church people striking out at people online. And these are church people. These are church people, right? And there's, I don't know, some kind of license they think they have to just strike out at people. They're on this little miniature crusade, you know. And I'm here to tell you that you don't fight fire with fire. You do what Jesus said. You use love. Love conquers. Okay, love, compassion. Okay, those things. Love is a feeling. Love is not. Love is not something you fall into. When you're around somebody pleasant, when you're around pleasant circumstances, you feel loving. That's the description. It's only a label. This Valentine's Day commercial type love kind of thing doesn't exist. It's not a reality. But when you are comfortable, when you are pleasant, when you are joyful, when you are happy, you are in the love state. Okay, what we call love. Okay, it's been commercialized, it's been highly commercialized, but those people that you're around, that you feel loving around, right? It's because you feel free. It's because you feel free to be that way around them, or you're confident enough to be that way around them. You're not uptight inside. They make you feel comfortable. So now you're loving with them. Okay. So what does this do? Well, this teaches your subconscious to be more loving. And this is why you don't fight fire with fire. If you're fighting fire with fire, you're just escalating things. When you escalate things, you never know what the reaction is going to be. Sometimes it gets out of hand. We're seeing a lot of that with the kids. We're seeing a lot of that with children these days. Okay, escalate, escalate, escalate. And a lot of these video games are violent. A lot of these video games are, bad for the subconscious. What is it teaching them? It's teaching them to be violent. It's teaching them to strike out. It's teaching them to behave in that manner. So how do you counter that with a child? Well, I work with teenagers. I've been very successful with them. Okay, I have some challenges with teenagers, but I also have a lot of successes with them. I've been working with teens. When their kids start turning 13, they bring them to me because that's the age where they want to make sure that they get grounded. So we do the vocalization with them. So, my first question is, how old is your child? Oh, 12. I know exactly what's going on. They're prepping for the teen years. Oh, my son is 12. Oh, my daughter's 12. Oh, she's 13. She's turning 13 in a couple of months. Okay, so they bring them to me so that their children get calm. Okay, because when you're calm in here, decisions are better. When decisions are better, outcomes are better. So if you want to really make good decisions, make them when you're happy. Make decisions when you're in a good state of mind. You don't want to make decisions when you're angry. When you're angry, you want to go silent. Because the next step is unpredictable. If you're angry, you never know how you're escalating that anger, and you don't know how it's going to come back. So the best thing to do is to not react. And how do you do that? You become the observer. You become the observer. How do you become the observer? Well, it's an awareness switch. Okay? When we do the vocalization exercises with people, we raise their awareness. When we raise their awareness, they have control. They don't have that gut reaction. Okay? They don't have that gut trigger, that kind of trigger. The kind that's very hard to stop. That kind, yeah, they don't have that. They can turn it off. They can shut it off. They can switch to observing rather than participating. So this is very important, because when you get triggered into something, you don't know what's coming back. So you get triggered into an angry response. Now, it's like a tennis match. How is the ball going to come back? How will it come back in your court? So I always ask my clients when I first do the intake on them, I say, okay, here, let's go over simple laws of power. This is a tennis player, this is a tennis player, this is the server. He hits the ball into the court over here, the ball goes in the court, goes out, he scores a point. This guy just stands there. Now the question is, who controls the game? This one or the one that just stood there? 8 out of 10 people tell me this one, the one that scored the point. I'm like, no, he just scored a point. He did not control the game. The game was controlled by the person who didn't react. Because without this person, because this person just stood there, this one served, right? Without this person, there is no game. He had total control. He had total control by switching to be the observer. Now he's no longer a participant. There is no game, but he is observing. So it doesn't matter who scores a point. It doesn't matter who gets one up on you. It doesn't matter who has the most creative comeback. It doesn't matter who has the best slanderous line against you. It doesn't matter. You don't have to figure out a comeback. You don't have to figure out a retaliation. You don't have to strike back. You have to become the observer. When you become the observer and the other person is angry, their energy slowly fizzles. Slowly fizzles. Why? Because there's no counter energy to amplify it. So their energy slowly fizzles. I can see that in people when they're angry, and I see their energy level go down, 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 down. And then they turn around and walk away. And you can master this, but you need to raise your awareness, and the fastest way is through your voice. The fastest way is through the human voice. So I'm going to bring a demonstration later on this week, maybe on Friday. I'm going to tape it with one of my clients. She signed the release, and we're going to have her demonstrate it because she's very spiritual, and because we need you to see it. And I don't have anybody to demo it with live. It'll be kind of irritating for people if we do it live. So I'm going to make a video and show it to you. So we're going to do that on Friday, this week, Friday. Thank you so much, Rosanna. I appreciate that. Hey, Ed in New Jersey. How you doing, Ed? All right. Thank you, Karen. Thank you for the gift. JP. Hey, JP. So I want to say hello to our TikTok gang. We have our Maria. Hi, Maria. Devin. Good morning, Devin. So we have you can ask me any questions in the comments if you need help with anything. If you need help with anything at all, if you want to ask me questions, go ahead and put it in the chat, and I'll answer. I'll answer all of your questions. Leo, Rosanna, anybody who has questions, Karen, and you're very welcome, Ed. You're very welcome. Aloha to you in New Jersey. So when you engage with something, you join with it. Okay? So let's call it bad energy, let's call it anger. Okay, if this person is angry and now you enter into a discussion or an argument, okay, now you've joined energetically in negative energy. You've joined, you're a part of this now. Okay, so this is why it's important to become the observer. You can't become the observer if you have that gut reaction that pulls you into it. You can't become the observer. Unless you're emotionally intelligent, you cannot become the observer. You get sucked in. We always think we have to have the answer. We always think when people are listening to you speak, what are they normally doing? They're thinking like, okay, what am I going to say next? What am I going to say next? How am I going to answer this? What am I going to say next? Try not having an answer. Try just being open. So when my clients come to me, they're like this, okay? They're like this. This is the visual that I use, one of two visuals. And slowly they get more comfortable. They get more comfortable. We use the voice to open, 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 open. Now this is open. This is when you can switch to the observer. If you're like this, you cannot switch to become the observer. Okay, the other visual is like this. If you're like this, you cannot become the observer. You're closed. This represents being closed. Same thing like this, okay? Closed. Now, in order to open, what do you have to do? You have to become receptive. If you're receptive, can you become the observer? Yeah, okay? Receptive is like this. Now you can receive. Okay, a lot of people who are in fear, guilt, shame, anger, they're like this. They cannot receive. You cannot receive goodness if you're like this. You're closed. You're closed off to everything. You're closed off to good stuff because it just bounces off of you. It's not going to come to you. On a vibrational level, your vibration is pushing and holding everything at bay. It's holding everything out there. It's not coming to you. So you need to open. Slowly, relax, relax, open, 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 like that. See? So when you become open, it's easy to be the observer. It's easy because now you're not in defense mode anymore. This is defense. This is defense. This is defense. But when you're no longer in defense mode, now you're open. Open to suggestions, open to new ways of doing things, open to other people's ideas, open to other people's opinions, and able to observe. It's very difficult to be closed and closed-minded and closed off and become the observer. Your awareness has to transcend the physical world. When my clients go to work, I have this one client, she's an attorney. I love this girl. And she has become the observer. And now she sees like her coworkers, she sees her coworkers in this state and she can't say anything because she will sound crazy. Because there's this societal hypnosis, okay? And the hypnosis is real, okay? And when you think about it and you break it down, you go, oh, the hypnosis exists because it's all subconscious programming. And if nobody changes their subconscious programming, and I'm the only one that does it, right? Now I can see the game. I can navigate the game better. Now I have a better understanding of the hypnosis that they're under because they're trained. They're trained into it. Their subconscious minds are trained into it. And now what happens? Well, you break free of that. You break free of the conditioning. When you break free of the conditioning, guess what? Now you can look in. And now you can strategize. Okay, how am I going to navigate this? How am I going to navigate these guys? And it's very easy because through intuitive thought, you get these answers and then you start implementing answers. Hey, Uncle Caio. Hey, aloha, aloha. Aloha to you guys in Vegas. And then you get the answers. TG, hi TG. And then you get the answers, and then you know how to navigate very easily. It's a flow state. It's a flow state. Hi Bella. It's a flow state that I'm talking about, okay? When you're in flow state, you can't explain it to somebody who's conditioned into fear and working out of fear or working in fear or working in anger or working in frustration. You know, they're frustrated because they're working hard. They have high performance jobs. Being an attorney is a high performance job. And in that kind of environment with other attorneys and other people that are in that capacity, they're conditioned, but my client is not anymore. And now she can see the conditioning. She sees it. It's real. It's very real. You can see a lot of conditioning, okay? A lot of conditioning in society. And it's for good reason. It's because we need order in society. We need order. We need laws. We need regulations. We need rules. We need policies. We need those things. We need those things in order to function as a community, as a whole. We need to be organized. So organization is important. But when the organization part no longer serves you, when you're operating in fear and you don't know it, you know, so my client told me, oh yeah, I was operating in fear. I was doing my whole career in fear because I didn't want to fail. I didn't, you know, so I kept going. I kept push, kept going up the ladder like that. And it's okay as long as it serves you. But if you're being powered by fear, you get some harsh circumstances. Okay, so if you're trying to navigate and steer the ship like this, okay, when something bad happens, that's exactly how you're going to get the repercussions, like this, okay? What am I really saying? I'm saying that if you approach things lightheartedly and casually, when you make a mistake, the consequences will be lighthearted and casual. When you're trying to do this through life and you're trying to navigate like this and you're trying to have your way with things and I'm going to push this over here and this is going to be like this, then when you make a mistake, bam, you get hit with something. Okay? So the easier you go, the easier you flow. When the circumstances come back from a mistake, it's like, oh, I made a mistake. Okay, let's fix it. And it's a small baby step instead of something you have to really work at correcting. It's just a minor adjustment at that point, but your whole awareness needs to be sharpened. You need a heightened sense of awareness. Women have very high awareness. Women have high awareness. Most of my clients are women. Most of my clients are female. I always joke around and say chicks dig me. But yeah, they're my clients. Why? Because they're emotional beings. They know things that men don't. They sense things that men don't. Because they have sharper intuition. That's why they call it women's intuition, because it's sharper. Because they're engineered to raise young. They're engineered to be mama bears. So women naturally have this heightened sense of awareness. But here's the problem. When they become overloaded with burden, okay, either too much work or hassles at home or stress, and they get stressed out. They get stressed out easy because they're emotional beings. And then they react emotionally to whatever it is that's stressing them out. But when they do the vocalization, all of that starts to dissipate. And then what happens? Then everything is clear. Then what happens? Awareness sharpens. Then what happens? Good decisions. Then what happens? Good outcomes. And women manifest way faster than men. Way faster. So let's say it another way. Women accomplish their goals much faster because they multitask. They're built to be mama bears, whether they have baby bears or not. So they multitask. So a woman can start drawing in things from different avenues, different sources, all at the same time, because she's focused. She's able to focus on 2 or 3 things instead of one thing. Men are not good at multitasking. We give up. We go, we throw in the towel. We just want to concentrate on one thing. We want to concentrate on our profession, whatever it is that we do. Women, they'll concentrate on several things, and they'll be bringing in abundance, right? So when the tide comes in, it flows, and they're like, wow, they're on a high. They're going, yeah, this is great. I'm getting all this stuff. All this stuff's coming in. Yeah, it's finally going. And then one bad thing can happen. One bad thing can happen, and put her in a good mood. And a bad mood. One bad thing can happen. Put her in a bad mood. What happens? The tide starts going out slowly. And hey, what happened to the business? Hey, things are kind of slowing down. Hey, what happened? Okay, so there's a spiritual reason for happy wife, happy life. That's spiritual. Okay, so happy wife, happy life. Happy wife, happy life, because when she's happy, she's bringing in abundance. When she's not happy, the abundance is slowly leaving until she gets happy again. So if you're married, okay, and you're a woman, you need to communicate this to your husband. If you're a guy, you need to understand this about women. You need to study female nature. You need to understand how she's engineered and why it is that things are suddenly flowing into your house. I took in this girl once that, I was, in Hawaii, we have what we call hanai, right? And I took in this girl, and I called her my hanai daughter, so we took her in, kind of hanai this girl. And as soon as she came in, I said, well, we have to, if you're going to stay with us, then you have to do something. We have to work. We have to do stuff. And she said, okay. And she started working in the office, in my office. And guess what happened? Abundance followed her right through the door. And we started making money. Things were increasing. Like clients started coming. Like everything was picking up. Everything increased. This works for every scenario. This works for every situation. This works for every woman. They manifest easily. It just comes. They don't even know why it's like that. They don't even understand that. But it happens. Then when she gets in a bad mood or something frustrates her or she's in a frustrated state, everything starts going out. Everything. Tide goes out. Now, does tide go in and out? Yes, all the time with human beings, because we go like this. Okay, good thought, bad thought, good thought, bad thought, good thought, bad thought. What's the solution to the majority being good thoughts, the majority being money coming in instead of money going out? Well, if this is 50%, okay, I always say this is 50% good, 50% bad, okay? All you have to do is stretch it across the line 1%. Now the majority of everything is good. And over here, the bad part is only 49%. And if the bad part is 49% and 51% is positive, or let's say good, or let's say good thoughts, or let's say, good actions, problem solved. Do you still get a dip in the cash? Oh yeah, money goes out. There are slow times for my business anyway. I have several companies, and one of our companies does well when the other one goes down, fortunately. But then there's times in the year when both of our, like the holidays, when people are spending money on their families for holidays, it's a slow time. Money goes out naturally, so money will slow down, or not. A lot of additional clients will come in, right? But then after that, after the holidays in January, February, clients start coming back again. So you're going to notice this, but the thing that you need to figure out is what your rhythm is. Okay, figure out your rhythm. Good morning, Aaron. Figure out your rhythm. Watch the money as it goes out, watch the money as it comes in, and notice when it comes out, when it goes in, how you're feeling when it comes in, how you're feeling when it goes out, and then start to take notes of your rhythm. Just observe. You can observe this on your own. Just be mindful. Be mindful of your rhythm. And then when you know what your rhythm is, you know when you need to put a little bit more exercise, a little bit more effort, or a little bit more focus. Let's put it that way. It's more focus than effort. Okay, a little bit more focus. When money starts to go out, a little bit more focus. Draw in money a little bit more focus. Okay, so then it would be, I am so happy and grateful now that I have 3 more clients, now that I have 4 more clients, like that, something like that. Or it could be money, it could be a dollar value. I am so happy and grateful now that we have $500 in additional money this month. Thank you. That kind of thing. Okay, so that works. I've done that so many times, it works. I started doing dollar values up until $5,000. I think that's the highest I got, was 5,000. And every time I wrote an affirmation for $5,000, it would show up. And then I started writing for clients. I gave up on the money part. So you don't need to focus on money. If you focus on doing something productive, money will come. Money will be automatic. Focus on things you love and people you love. The things you love to do, the things you love, and the people you love. Focus on that. And focus on your purpose. Whatever your purpose is, whatever you do for a living, whatever your profession is, focus on that. Do that to the best of your ability, and the money is automatic. Money just comes. And sometimes when you think you'll get stuck, when you think things will fall through the floor, when you think things will go away or you lose your job or whatever like that, sometimes when you just let go of those thoughts, nothing happens, nothing bad happens when you just let go of those thoughts. So what am I saying? I'm saying let go of the rubbish, let go of the junk, hold the good thoughts, okay? Hold them here, okay? This is the prison, so you want to make sure you unlock this door first, okay? Because if you don't unlock the prison door, you remain like this. If you don't unlock the prison door, you remain like this. So it's important, okay? Unlocking means be open-minded, be open, be receptive. There is only one person in your universe. That's you. Because everything you do is only relative to you. Everything, every decision you make, every affirmation you do, every meditation you do, is for you. But when you make this better, everything out here reacts to everything in here. A lot of my clients go, wow, like work was easier this week. And I'm going, why work was easier? And they go, why? I said, because you're more relaxed this week. We got you more relaxed, so your job is easier. If you're not relaxed in here, if you're uptight in here, if you're tense in here, you're not going to have a good work day. Work is going to feel like pressure. Work is going to feel tense. Work is going to feel like a chore. But if you're relaxed in here, so that's why we give, the vocalization exercises. I'll show it to you on Friday. We're going to tape it. But once you're relaxed in here, then everything out here is easy. Leo, let me get to your question. We're almost out of time. I'll get to your question right now. Let's see. What is it? I have to kind of expand this window here. Hang on. Oh, I see. Do you protect yourself from negative energies? So, yes, but I do it through positive energy. Okay, I exercise positive energy, and that blocks you from negative energy. There's one of the two. You can't be in both at the same time. So yes, the answer is yes, and I use positive energy to deflect negative energy. Okay, I also do clearings. Okay, so clearings is important. If you get Palo Santo or if you get sage and burn that in your house. You can clear with that. You can clear with Tibetan bowls. You can clear with uh, certain things that you can clear with your voice. We use the voice more than anything. Hey, Jonathan. Good morning. Thank you, Jonathan. Good morning. We've been trained to dismiss the innate intuition. Yes, we've been trained to dismiss it. We've also been trained that it's not there. We've been told it's not there. Like, oh, that's your imagination. Oh, don't be silly. That's that kind of thing. We've been conditioned like that in society. Okay, so you're right. The more you dismiss your intuition, the more you dismiss what you feel. Okay, this is what women are so good at. They're good at feeling. They're emotional beings. Women are great at this. They feel everything, right? If you really want to know, who the creep is in the room, take a woman in there with you and go, baby, who's the creep? She'll point it out. She'll point it out right away. Oh, that guy over there in the corner. Okay, because women have women's intuition. It's called women's intuition for a reason. It's a heightened sense of awareness that they're built with. And they're built like that because they one day could possibly be mama bears. Okay. Thank you, Leo. Yeah, I'm here at the same time every morning, every single day. No worries. You're welcome anytime. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Hi, Nikki. Good morning. So, women have this special ability. A lot of men dismiss it, right? Men dismiss it, and they end up making the woman feel like she's crazy because she's an emotional being. So, guys, if you're doing that, you need to learn female nature. You need to learn about women. Only 3% of men understand women. 3 out of 100 guys, 3 out of 100 men understand women. But when you understand women, you can learn a lot from them. But first, you have to get them. You have to understand them. You have to know what they are and how they are and appreciate them for that, because they will add a lot to your life and you will learn a lot. So when it's kind of too late to talk about relationships. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. We'll talk about relationships and the dynamic between male and female, and how the male grounds the female, and how the right male, or the appropriate male with a good understanding of female nature, can ground a female into a greater magnification of manifestation. So it's important, ladies, it's important for you to find the right guy to ground you, okay? Because you need that home base. You need that home base energy that allows you to be you, and allows you to use your emotions and to multitask and to manifest those things into being. Or we can say it another way: allows you to set goals and achieve them, set goals and achieve them, set goals and achieve them. Okay? But either way. And it's important, ladies, that you do anything in your power not to be frustrated. Okay? When you're frustrated about something, you need to solve the problem, whatever it is. Okay? You need to work on whatever it is that's frustrating you, or you need to let go. Okay? And when I say let go, I just mean release. Okay? Because when you're like this, right, this is gonna slow things down. That's like a dam in a river. Okay? It's gonna slow the abundance, or slow the flow. It's gonna slow the income. When you're in a bad mood, you're frustrated. It's kind of like being like this. It's kind of like keeping everything out here. Your goodness cannot get to you, because why? Because there's this little force field here, and this is frustration, and this is being upset, and this is moodiness, and this is like that, right? But when this comes down, now everything comes to you. Okay. So on that note, we'd like to thank our international audience. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, TikTok. Thank you, Twitch. Thank you, Trovo in Europe. And we bid you a fond aloha from Hawaii. Hi, Jorge.